This episode is sponsored by Phrase Flowers, a Western New York family-run flower farm and floral preservationist. They offer unique and one-of-a-kind pressed flowers in the shapes of buffaloes. Every buffalo is handcrafted, and because they are made with flowers, each one has their own look and personality.
You can get a hold of them on their website at phraseflowers.com. That's Frase flowers.com. Or check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Bring more joy and color into your life at Phrase Flowers.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Buffalo Sports Collective. It is Monday, April 14th, 2025. As always, I am PK alongside my co-host, Phil. Episode 351. I'm a little late getting on here to record, and there's a reason behind that. The Masters just concluded. I don't know. I don't think you're a big golf guy. I'm not a big golf guy, but, you know, the majors, you got to tune in, especially when Rory McIlroy is in the final pairing. He had a 4-foot putt to win the championship and win the green jacket, complete the Grand Slam, be just the sixth player ever to do it. And he pushed it, went to a playoff. They both, him and Justin Rose, had perfect drives. Justin Rose hit his second shot like 8 feet from the hole, and then Rory hits it 3.5 feet from the hole. Justin misses his putt, he pars it, and then 3.5 feet to win the green jacket, and he nails it. So my question to you is less about golf, more about, do you got that dog in you? And do you got that clutch gene that takes, you know, it's perfect. Just like you got what it takes in those clutch moments to just perform and tune out all the noise.
It's interesting. Because I feel like, as far as like, I know they're wildly different, but like public speaking, and as you know, I choked on the wing eating competition. So like in front of people, I feel like I'm not great, but at the same time, growing up playing sports, I was a pitcher for a really long time, pitched plenty of final innings and late games, and got to hold it, got to keep it close, big moments, and then I was also a goalie for soccer for most of my career, and same thing, a little bit into college as well, big moments, penalty shots late in the game, a lot of playoffs, stuff like that, and I feel like I was always fine with those moments. Like in those situations, I never had a problem. I was always dialed in, could get the pitch, make the save, do whatever I had to do. Wasn't flawless, obviously. Sometimes I scored, sure. But like those moments were never too big for me. But when it comes to like public speaking or that kind of moment, I will shy away very, very easily. But as far as sports goes, I was always fine in those big moments. I feel like I had a good ability to rise to them and dial in and do what I needed to do.
Yeah, I was never good enough in anything to really need to have that clutch gene. So I don't know if I got the dog in me. I don't know if I got the clutch gene in me. I never needed it. I feel like I'm a very relaxed person. Not very many things faze me. I don't get overwhelmed very often by very many things. I don't get stressed out about very many things. So I feel like if I needed that dog in me, I could bring it out.
Would you be too calm is the problem?
It's possible. It could, like, even if it's like, oh, shoot, I let it in, and then it just wouldn't faze me. It's like, on to the next.
Like,
so I think
it's just a game. That's all right.
I feel like I have the gene to, like, even if I've given up, like, 10 earned runs, I'll just be like, okay, let's keep throwing it. Eventually I'm going to get them out, right? So, like, I don't think I have it in me. Never needed it. Never needed to try to bring it out. So, if it's down there, it's probably going to remain dormant for the rest of my life, because when am I ever going to need to pull it out? Like, I'm here.
We'll have to do a BSE putt-putt challenge and see if you got it in you.
I am undefeated in putt-putt, though. So our team's undefeated. We've never lost. Never needed. That might be the most extreme that I've ever needed it. Like volleyball, I mean, we were never good enough for me to need it. Like, if I needed to make the spike or the save, got it. basketball I was never tall enough or good enough to be in the crunch time. So, I mean, I really never needed it. So hats off to all of them, all the people out there that need it in your life, whether it's like your career, sports, whatever it is. If you got that dog in you, let me know how it is, because I have no idea what it's like. So you can let us know on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. Don't forget to follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Phil's article will be out on Tuesday. Mine will be out. Final power rankings this year will be out on Thursday. Then my write-ups are done until November, December, and it could be even further depending on the CBA for the NLL, but we'll get into that in the offseason. You can check out our store on our link tree on our social media sites or at the top of the website by hitting the shop tab. You can represent the BSC on the go and look for the time breakdowns in the description of the show. Bandits versus Thunderwolves. I did it again. I just continued what I did last.
You really want this Thunderwolves team to exist.
That's such a good name, though. Combine the Firewolves and the Thunderbirds.
What NCCC's?
It was
mascot.
the Thunderwolves, I think it was.
Was it the Thunderwolves?
That might be what it is.
I'm pretty. I would say they got a new one while we were there, and I thought it was Thunder something. I couldn't remember if it was Wolves
I think
or
it's
something
Thunderwolves.
else, but yeah, I think it's Thunderwolves. So
I will say something embarrassing. I had to do something there for my real job, and I was walking up to the sports center doors, the athletic doors. I didn't know that they put a statue of a wolf there. Holy cow, that got me. That scared the living daylights out of me. I'm like, how am I going to fight a wolf? Like, am I going to have to pull the dog out of me at that point? But that was terrifying. It's just a statue. And then I was like, wow, that's embarrassing. Hopefully nobody caught that on film. But Thunderbirds, a little side tangent there. 15-12 victory. Buffalo walks out and clinches the number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. Byrne and Bucky each had 4. McKay had 2. Wires, Priolo, Scanlon, Smith, and Frazier won each. Vince, 51 of 63 saves. Shots were 63-48 in favor of Halifax. Faceoffs also go to Halifax, 22-9. Buffalo, perfect on the power play, 2 for 2. I'm standing there in the crowd going, holy crap, they scored on a 5-on-3. Holy cow, they scored on a 5-on-4. Perfect on power play. Halifax, 2 for 3. Phil, what's your overview of the game as a whole?
I loved it. It was tough being in the box for this one, and I mean it was just the back and forth. I mean, neither team really took over at any point in the game. The longest run for Halifax was 3, and the longest run for Buffalo was eventually 3 to end the game, but before that it was only 2, so it seemed like every single time someone scored, the other team scored right back, and there were 6 times, I think I counted if that's correct, that Halifax scored within 1 minute of Buffalo scoring. So that was the kind of game it was, but at the same time, loved the atmosphere, loved the style of game, and we talked a lot about this game being kind of the tune-up for playoffs. And this, if there was ever a playoff atmosphere and a playoff type game that felt very back and forward to heavy hitters going at it, like this was it, and it was fantastic. And to see Buffalo finally clamp down and finish the game strong and get the win, that's what you needed from Buffalo. They brought the dog out in themselves, and they got it going at the end, and they stayed with it the whole game. Neither team was really giving much of an inch, but then when it came to crunch time, Buffalo was able to do what they do best as a championship caliber team, lock it down, pull away, win the game, go, get the first seed. So it was a lot of fun. It was a really great game. And I think if there was, like you mentioned last week, that was kind of the game that if Bandit fans are worried about the team and the little bit of, stretch they went on where they weren't great, like that was the game to put it to bed. To me, this was the game for me that, not that last game wasn't. I definitely think they fixed a lot of things. Last game looked good. You beat a team that you should have beat, and you beat them pretty easily. But this is a game where you're facing a potential team that could make the finals, and you stayed with them the whole game. You battled them. You looked like a championship caliber team. You looked fantastic, and you were able to put it away at the end to win the game. So could things have gone better? Sure. But you got the win against a very, very talented team that you had. I know it was close in your prediction. It was only 1 goal off, but you still, there was a reason you had Halifax possibly winning this game. And there was a reason that I had Halifax, or the Bandits only winning this game by 1. They're very evenly matched. So to see Buffalo stay with it the whole game and then be able to pull away at the end, it was a really great game. But that playoff atmosphere and just knowing the Bandits can bring that out and play as well as they did, that felt really good headed into, I know we have 1 week left, but headed into playoffs in 2 weeks.
Yeah, this was a fantastic NLL game in general, kind of what we were expecting between two powerhouse teams. First off, hats off to the Bandit Land and Bandit organization. I think that game was prime example of why they are the first class top tier team and fan base in the NLL. I mean, filling the barn for the fifth time this year, breaking the NLL record, over
So
150,000 fans, NLL record. I mean, yes, you have a bigger arena to be able to do that kind of stuff than others, but you still got to fill it with 19,000 fans. So Calgary's got the ability, Colorado's got that ability. I think Vancouver's got that ability. So some arenas do, but only Buffalo is able to do it. I love the trophies. I think everybody that might be out there complaining about this, that, or another thing, I mean, they don't have to do anything for you. Like the band's tickets are cheap. Hopefully they stay that way. Even though if you win 3, I mean, might as well just keep raising the price. People are going to pay. But I mean, it's entertainment, and they really don't have to do anything for you because they don't have to, because fans show up regardless. So anything that they add to it just shows how much they appreciate the fans. Love the trophies. I mean, we got an extra one that maybe down the line we'll give it away. Just stay tuned. But I think first and foremost, we got to address that Bandit Land. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, there's no other words to describe it. But towards the game, I think the offense came alive after a shaky first quarter. Again, we're going to get into this stuff as we work through this game. Smith, I mean, he's back in the realm of records now. I mean, that game was unbelievable. Didn't know he had 10 assists until you're like, yeah, Dean's sitting there with 10 assists. I'm like, holy cow. Byrne and Bucky kind of were the offense in this one. I know it was spread around, but if it wasn't for those two, especially early on with Byrne, it might have a different result. They stayed out of the box again. I mean, the illegal substitute, we'll get into the penalties. I'm not getting into it now. Vince, once again, was great. I think this is another tune-up. This is the Vince that you need to see leading into playoffs. This is the Vince that we saw last year leading into playoffs. So it was another good one to see primetime Invincible back there. Great bounce back game by Thomas Whitty. I think he was very, very solid in this one. If I give him criticism, if he does well the next week or the week after, I'm going to praise him there too. I think he was very good. I don't think Kyle Matisse is getting talked about enough between us and Banditland and Bandit fans out there. He's been underrated since that trade. I think Wires was very bad in this one. And although Connor Farrell didn't win the draws, you weren't seeing the odd man rushes going the other way. So, I mean, how many times you can maybe count it on at one hand that Jake Withers won it clean and was going the other way. So as much as the 22-9 isn't a good look, there was nothing that really resulted negatively on the faceoff dot. But the only other thing, we already went over it, statement win, top spot, but the biggest thing that we'll get into a little bit later is no transition goals for Halifax. They were shut out. Buffalo led that way 5-0. So it was a big test for the transition game and the forwards getting off the field quickly, and I think they handled it perfectly.
Yeah, going back to the fans, WIVB Channel 4 on their little article had the Bandits record at 166,238 for 9 regular season home games. They only had 4 sellouts, and I went back to NLL stats. They also only have 4 sellouts, so I'm not sure where 5 came from. I don't know. That's interesting. Not really a big deal, but well over 150,000. I do think, I know this is going to sound dumb, and it is a little bit, but I do think the Bandits organization and the fans deserve some kind of NLL trophy for having the new record for attendance, because that is insane. That's a lot, and it's, again, like you said, showing that an organization can do it right and do it this incredibly well. Obviously, being to 4 straight finals helps quite a bit, as well as the other team that plays the same time as them not doing very well. A lot of factors, but it is fantastic. And like you said, greatest fans, greatest place. It is incredible, and a huge shout out to the fans. They deserve it, but great game overall. Feel like there was one other thing. I don't know. We can get into it. Go for it.
Yeah. We'll dive into the offense here. I mean, it was spread around. I mean, the biggest thing to look forward to if you want to look towards next week in a meaningless game for Buffalo, it could be meaningful based on who they might want to play. I mean, they can play that game of, hey, if we lose to Georgia, who would end up in the A spot if we beat Georgia, and so on and so forth. But Nanakoke, he hurt either his knee or his ankle on that second shift. He did come back in and play, but because this game next week is meaningless for standing sake and seeding sake, it will be. And Nanakoke even came into the game questionable. It will be interesting to see if they throw out Lucas Nielsen and give Tehoka Nanakoke a break in this coming week. I mean, the full first quarter, the whole, basically the whole until that penalty where Thomas Whitty drew and got the 5-on-3, their offense was really bad. They didn't get a shot on net until the sixth shift. It was very sloppy through the first 10 minutes, but they got going once those two power play opportunities presented themselves, and maybe this is another leaping step forward to fix the power play. And not saying that the power play has been a reason that they're sitting 13-4 and 13-4, whatever. But we all know the power play has not been very good this whole season, and it hasn't hurt them. But it will be interesting to see, because if they can fix this power play and capitalize on those opportunities that present to themselves, they should theoretically, be able to three-peat here. But I mean, the last one is the 5 in transition. The transition game was critical in this game, that you were able to not only get 5 in the transition game between defense with Wires and Priolo scoring, but also the forwards getting out, the defense getting off the field, getting the forwards on, and being able to shut down. And this is a credit to the forwards, since we're talking about offense, being able to shut down a very dangerous Halifax transition game. Because to me, going into this game, they were one of, if not the top transition team in the entire NLL.
Yeah, the offense, as far as not really negatives by any means, but just kind of weird. Like, Fraser just wasn't part of this game. And he was out there, again, he sets a lot of picks and things like that. So I'm not saying he was not good in this game, but he just wasn't a big part of the game plan. Only 4 shots on goal. He had the one nice shot. You could tell it seemed like he really was thrilled that he got that in. Not your usual celebration, but like, I kind of needed that to go in. I needed that for myself. But it was interesting to see the right side. Obviously, Nanakoke with the injury, but him as well. I mean, Fraser and Nanakoke not really existing too much in this game. Smith, even him, only 1 goal. So the right side outside of Buchanan, who was phenomenal. I'm not saying Smith had a bad game. He had 10 assists. He was fine. But the right side only accounted for 2 goals outside of Buchanan.
You might want to change the word fine to good or great, because people are going to hit you on that one.
Or absolutely fantastic. The
there
man is...
I'm just looking out for you. I'm just looking out for you.
I do want to say, I called him out 2 games ago for not being very good. Last game, he was amazing. This game, even better. So, I think he took it to heart. He's like, you know what? That podcast host is right. I'm not playing 100%. I can be better. And look at that. He is. But yeah, it was just interesting to see so much come from the left side. Obviously, Byrne on fire. Buchanan with the same move over and over and over that no team has figured out, because it's one of those things where, like, even Jeff Teat, go out there and stop him. You can't do it. Same with Buchanan and Smith this year. Like, their combination has been so lethal, and teams know that that's what they're doing, and yet they cannot figure out a way to stop it because of the attention Smith draws. It's just, he's always going to draw more attention than Buchanan. The team knows that, and the team plays off it extremely well. And then Buchanan ends up with 4 goals, and Smith ends up with 4 primary assists, I believe, on those goals. So their chemistry this year has been extremely important to this team and really, really good. Now Buchanan with a career high for a single season in goals as well. He's having just an incredible season, not to mention for a 37-year-old, but there's a reason we wanted him back. It was not to break his single season goal personal high, but he's still doing incredible things. But overall, I thought it was a really good game. Like you said, that first quarter was gross. It was like, I thought Halifax's defense was playing them very strong, very physical, very tight, but the passes were off. They were dropping things left and right. Like, the first quarter, outside of the 5-on-3, which really seemed to spark them, was kind of atrocious. But after that, I mean, they only scored 2 in the first quarter, and I know a lot of it ended up being on transition as well, but you consider the rest of the game, that's 13 goals in 3 quarters. Perfectly fine with that. And the transition was huge. I mean, 5 goals is insane for a Buffalo transition. I think normally we're happy if they get 1, and it's because of the style of play they have. It's all offense, all defense. They really don't do a ton of transition, but in this game, you had Priolo with not only a goal, but also 2 assists. Matisse with his best as a Bandit with 4 assists. Like, you saw the transition really happening in this game. And to see them be able to do it, I think is huge for not only the goals that they scored, but for the team itself to know that, okay, if we need a big goal in transition, we have the ability to pull that out and get it. But I thought the offense overall, 15 goals in back-to-back games, that is massive for a team as they wind down the season.
Yeah, I only got 3 things to tidy up as my street. It's 45 and people go 60 and 65, so I'd probably pick that up. I was just looking out the window to see who was flying by, but again, that might not even pick it up. I think it's going to pick it up. Regardless, I go on side tangents all the time. As a fellow short guy, I can tell you why that play works all the time is because he gets lost because he's small and he just hides behind players and finds gaps, and it works perfect. As a little guy that takes longer to get places, I can understand that. Second one, you mentioned, I think it was either last show or the show before, getting Kyle Matisse some shifts up at the right forward. This is the type of game where I think he actually adds more value than taking shifts in the forward department, because the way he's able to push the ball, and yes, some of those assists were secondary assists, but you still started the transition game, where if he's able to do that a little bit more, I think that transition game can take that next step, and we kind of saw it here. I mean, 4 assists on the 5 transition goals. So I think he actually adds more value in that department. Again, I still agree with you. Now that their offense, back-to-back weeks of 15 goals, like you just said, I think and with Nanacook possibly not playing next week due to the injury, again, it's just speculation, just what I saw. I would give him a rest week next week, but maybe that's an opportunity to give him a couple shifts up at forward to kind of prime yourself for playoffs. And the last one, Dane Smith, that pass, I think on the 13th goal, what was it? The 14th goal. He's got 2 guys draped all over him. It was a Nanacook-esque play where they just couldn't get the ball out of his stick, and then the ability to back up as well, which makes sense when 2 players are attacking you, but the ability to back up and then Buchanan come around the net and find that space out in front of the net, the connection those 2 have is just unmatched. And I know Frazier and Nanacook have a connection as well, but the connection between Dane Smith and Kyle Buchanan might be one of the most underrated and underappreciated around the NLL, because it's just they always know where each other is. I know having Dane Smith as the elite passer that he is benefits that, but you also have the guy on the other side of the ball that's receiving it be in that position, and Buchanan always finds that open space and just unbelievable. And I'm very happy that he's okay, because after that first quarter where it looked like he took a crunch to the shoulder and the neck, getting up from that one when you're a short guy, I get it. But before we dive into the defense, we're going to go over our second sponsor of the show, which is Tap That Tap Room.
I passed it somewhere.
Yeah, it's a waste.
That Tap Room is at 363 Delaware Street in Tonawanda, New York. They are Buffalo's first women-owned self-pour bar featuring 30 consistently rotating taps, offering a wide variety of beers, sours, ciders, seltzers, and malt beverages.
Yeah, the weather was beautiful on Sunday. I don't know if you got to go out and enjoy it. I was walking around in shorts. Actually, I had to take off my hoodie because I was getting warm. But it got me getting that patio bev itch. And, they got a nice patio, which you could bring your dogs to because they are dog-friendly. So when the weather finally does change, which it is coming, bring those dogs out to Tap That Tap Room, because Tap That Tap Room loves dogs. And if you love dogs, I love you. So Geeks Who Drink, Wednesday, 7:30. Make sure you're down there, win some trophies, pat us on the back, and send us some prize money. Thank you. Thursdays have returned. It's kicking off this week, 6 to 10. Teachers, first responders, and military get 10% off your whole tab. Go there, relax, enjoy the great environment. You earned it, and they are rewarding you for the jobs that you do, because not very many people can do it. I can't do it. I talk behind a microphone. Final regular season watch party for the Bandits is Saturday at 7:30. Again, best place to watch the Bandits games with other Bandits fans. When you're going there, you're watching a Bandits game. You're not going to have to listen to people who want to see the Masters turn on in the background. They go to other bars. Tap That Tap Room is a Bandits only Saturday or Friday night, depending on when they play, because their first game in the playoffs is Friday night. So to find out what else they got coming up, head to their Facebook page, and to find out what's on tap and what's on deck, go to tapthattaproom.com, because they have something
for everyone.
I love that. That is a thing. I just hate that I haven't been paid yet. Defense. I think they were very, very solid through the first 5 minutes. I think overall, I think they were very, very good. Yes, there were slips and some breakdowns, but again, you're going against the second ranked offense in the entire NLL. They're going to get theirs. They have good players too. I always say it. You have to appreciate it every once in a while. Sometimes it's not the goalie, sometimes it's not the defense. The other team has great players also that you have to, account for. But, 7 of the 12 goals came to the righties. We said it in the game that you definitely have to lock down the righties because Peterson, Stotts, and Hogarth were leading the team in points, leading the team in goals, leading the team in everything that's out there. But I think they did a very, very good job on not letting Thomas Hogarth camp in front of the net, where he's been vintage and he's been electric in this one. Only allowing him to have 3 shots on net, I think, is a big victory. Peterson, as much as he had those 7 points, and he had that little bit of a run in the first quarter, I think for the most part, they did a very good job of neutralizing him to the extent that they did. Yes, he had 16 shots on net, but only 3 of them were goals, and the majority of them were mess ups by the defense in the first quarter that we'll get into. But then Randy Stotts he was otherworldly in this one. I don't care what you want to say. That move where he's able to go inside, bait the defense, and then just bully his way in front of the net. The one goal that I'm going to pull up, what was it? It was the 8th one. Yes, Priolo did get burned on the inside, but again, that's Stotts' vintage move there. The footwork in front of that net was unbelievable. Like, I don't know how he didn't step in the crease once because he was towing the line the whole time. Randy Stotts he doesn't get the enough respect around the league for just how talented he is. Maybe that's because he plays in Halifax, and Halifax isn't always at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, they've had great seasons, great regular seasons, but they haven't had that playoff success. So maybe that's part of it, but I mean, just seeing him firsthand and seeing him a lot this season, and he's finally put in a fully healthy season after missing half the season last year. He's just an underrated player that does not get enough credit around this league. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people from Halifax are just going to say you're an idiot. That's fine. But speaking from somebody in Buffalo that covers the league and covers Buffalo Bandits, I personally take this as a compliment. I do not think Randy Stotts gets the credit and respect that he deserves.
Yeah, I thought the defense as a whole looked really good. There were definitely times throughout the game where their switches were slow and some of the goals were absolutely on them, where if they play a little bit tighter, a little bit closer, a little bit more physical, I think they stopped them a few more times. But I think one of the biggest things you said that you have to remember with this team, they are the second best offense in the league, only second to Buffalo. And there's a reason they are the second best offense in the league. They're very, very talented. And I think for the Bandits being able to do what they did against them, hold them as long as they did, 2 of the goals being on the power play, 0 transition was just a great combination from the offense and the defense being able to get off quick enough and the defense getting on quick enough without too many penalties. The illegal substitution was only on offense, so not a defensive transition trying to sprint on to catch the guy. I think they did an incredible job against one of the best transition teams in the game. So being able to shut that down alone honestly deserves a ton of credit. And then at the flip side, being able to shut them down for the most part, yes, their stars got theirs, but so did the Bandit stars. Like, that's just what stars do. There's plenty of good players in this league that are going to be able to do what they do best and get goals, get points, score, a lot of things. So I think overall they did a really good job. I mean, it took, what was it? Hang on. 63 shots to get 12 goals. So a lot of shots went on net, sure, but a lot of them were ones that Vince wanted to see. Vince's shooting save percentage was, I think, 81%. So you could tell there were times that I think he still had to make his big saves, which he did a good job of, but there were plenty of times he got the shot he wanted to see. So yes, it's a lot of shots. Yes, they outshot the Bandits by a lot, but it's quality shots versus quantity. And I think the Bandits defense, when they allowed a lot of shots, was allowing more of the low quality shots that Vince wants to see. So I think as a whole, the defense did a good job. There were absolutely things I thought they could have tightened up and maybe held 2, 3, 4 goals off the board. But at the same time, again, one of the best offenses out there. They're going to get there. So I think as a whole, they did a really good job, tightened a few things up in the playoffs, and you probably hold that team closer to 10 rather than 12.
So I know the last part of the defense that you're going to talk about, so I'm going to let you carry away and carry the torch on that one. But I think there were 2 other instances where I just want to point out with the defense. One really good and one really bad. Halifax fifth goal, the box and one. That should be taken, put it right in the trash, and then take the trash right out the front door and have the garbage man can come and take it right to the dump, because never do that again. Nobody was within 10 feet of Randy Stotts. Horrible defensive idea. I personally, at the game where I don't have the replay, I'm watching. I'm like, was there a delayed game? Like, why were they playing this type of defense? Like, it makes no sense. And then I got home and I rewatched the game the next day. I'm like, no, that was a design box and one. Dumb call. I mean, you gave Randy Stotts 10 feet. You give any player in the NL 10 feet of space, he's going to score. Dumb. Put it in the trash. Never do it again. Idiotic. But the good part, the second penalty kill, fantastic. I mean, the blocks, the saves, it was unbelievable. It was the same possession for a minute 45. And yes, they ended up capitalizing on that and scoring on the power play there. But the penalty kill on that whole play, I mean, even at one point, you had Wires have to put shift up top because he went to go get a loose ball and Priolo had to back up there. The movement, the blocks, it was unbelievable. That second penalty kill. Again, Halifax did end up scoring on it, but they killed off a minute 45 on the same possession, the same four guys out there. I mean, it was something to see and something that they can hang their hat on, because it was something really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, the final thing with the defense is you focused in on Whitty and a little bit on Wires last game coming off his injury, and I'm going right back at Wires from the press box. He was extremely frustrating to watch in this game. There were way too many goals that were specifically kind of on him. And again, every player is going to get burned once or twice a game. You hope it doesn't lead to too many goals. It happens, but once is okay. You know, if you're out of position, whatever happens. Again, other teams cause that. They're good for a reason. But Wires got burned 3, 4, 5 times, and it wasn't necessarily burned. It looked like laziness. It looked like not playing physical, not playing strong. Just the way he was out there, it looked like he was more going through the motions than truly playing. And this is upsetting because we like Wires. Like, he's a great defensive player. I've had no problems with him all season. And then since he's come back from the injury, he's been different. And I don't know if it's still injury related. I really hope it is, because he did not play well. The few times now he does what he's done in the past, which I thought we worked out as a rookie, but he will allow a player to just walk all the way in on the crease while he does, where he thinks he's trying to block a shot, but you can't really block a shot when the guy's on top of the crease throwing 18,000 fakes in front of Vince. You're really just in the way. And instead of stepping to that player and hitting him and trying to throw him off, you're just standing there as a tree, not letting Vince really see what the heck is going on. And that player is just using you as a screen. And it happened very obviously on one of them where I forgot who the player was, but he ended up going to the right, kind of going around Wires to the right,
Dawson.
and what?
It was Dawson that got burned to the right. Yep.
Oh, but Wires was standing there, and the player kind of went around Wires to the right as a fake, and then Vince kind of went all the way to his left of the net, and then the player just kind of threw it back to a wide open net on the other side because Vince had no idea where the ball was at that point. There were a couple of their switches that Wires was just very slow and looked lazy on. And then there was other times where he just allowed way too much time and space for a guy to wind up and shoot, especially when a team has such great shooters. You have to be in their face the whole game. You cannot allow them any free shots to take it because they will score. They're that good. And Wires just did not play a good game. Similar to Whitty last week, I thought Whitty played poorly, but he bounced back in this one. I'm really hoping that Wires can bounce back because he is a big part of this defense. I do like him as a defender. This isn't a move on from Wires as a whole by any means, but the way he played this game, the way he played a little bit of last game, he needs to be better. And I think he can. He's shown it, but he needs to be better.
Yeah, you summed up a lot of it. The biggest thing, it's hard for me to fully criticize him on the plays where I get frustrated on it, because I don't know if that's what the defense and Matt Vince wants him to do. But as an outsider looking at this game that has covered this team for 4 years, it's a bad play to me. Like, there one spot where what was it? Again, I'm trying to remember it. There was too many of them. It was the third one. where Peterson just pick and rolls. Wires is slow to get back on that back toss. It was a bad one. And then the one where the one that stands out the most is, I think it was Robinson coming right down the middle of the field, like wide open. It was a missed switch or something, and Wires, whether that was his guy or not, I don't think it ended up being his guy, but at the very end, it was his guy because he was the only line of defense between it. He's in the middle of the crease, like right on top of Matt Vince, as Robinson's coming right down. So I think you summed it up perfectly, where he's at that point not a shot blocker. He's just a pylon in the way of Matt Vince. And yes, he stuck out his foot in the right area, but it's those times where he's in no man's land, where he's not benefiting the goalie and he's not benefiting the defense by just standing there. So if he takes one or two steps towards the defender, I think that's a better decision. But again, I can only criticize him for what I'm seeing. If that's what he's being told by either Matt Vince or the defense, I think they need to review tape, because that is not a good decision for me. It's happened too many times on the penalty kill as well, where he's just standing in front of the net. And again, Matt Vince is very particular. I mean, having two guys right on top of him is not the prototypical way to kill a penalty, but it works for this team. So again, I don't know if that's exactly what they want him to do, but as an outsider looking in, I think there's better ways to handle this as somebody that's never played lacrosse in his entire life. So take that with a grain of salt. Call me an idiot. I don't care. This is just what I'm seeing. So I do think that if he goes and attacks that player, they will find more success than him blocking Matt Vince's view, getting the occasional block shots. Other times, again, like we always say, block shots are great if you block them. If you do not block them, you are basically screening the goalie. In the if Matt Vance can't find his way through it and make that save, it's in the back of the net. But we'll move on to the goalie here. Again, Thomas Whitty just had a good bounce back, so maybe Cam Wires will shut me up as well.
That's what I'm hoping.
One goal in the first 22:41 of the game. Unbelievable. The defense played great. Matt Vince bailed them out when the defense missed a change-up or whatever it was. But the final five goals scored in 7:19 of the second quarter. There was a lot of, they're getting right back into it. But Matt Vince was unbeatable in the final 9:45, doesn't let in a single goal. I lost count of how many saves he made in that final 3 minutes with the goalie was pulled as well, but I really thought he was going to score another one that was wide open if it didn't get deflected. But really, I only had two on him. I know we differ on the two that we have on Matt Vince. The second one, Scanlon was in the crease. Then it goes the other way. Wires is slow to close the gap, but I really think Matt Vince needs to make that save on Peterson to make it 14-2. And then the final one, number 12, even Pat Gregoire said it. Jamison comes in and kind of beats Dawson, but Vince needs to have that one inside post. Yeah, that one can't go in. But again, two on the power play, two goals that counted. So really, of the 12, two on Matt Vince. The rest of them were kind of breakdowns by the defense or just fantastic plays. Like number 9, for example, Randy Stotts' goal. Zach Belter had perfect defense on him, like all on top of him. It's just a goal scorer that does phenomenal things to put the ball in the back of the net. It's not bad defense. It's not bad goaltending. It's just that's one of those examples where I say the other team has good players as well. That's a good player making a great play. That's all I got for Matt Vince. But I do think that come playoff time, he's primed and ready, and this is going to be Matt Vintage prime time. It will be interesting. We'll kind of talk about it on the Friday show, kind of what this team does. But in a game that's meaningless, do you give Matt Vince the first half? Do you let him play the whole game so he continues this momentum? Like, what do you do that time comes? But that'll be a question we ask on Friday. Let us know on the socials.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Bud Bailey about that as we walked into the post-game press conference, and we were like, well, if it was Josh Allen, he's benched. And Vince is essentially, the Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bandits. And at the same time, it was asked him, Tavares was like, essentially it's up to Matt and what he wants to do. If he wants to play, because that keeps him fresh and ready, then he's going to play. If he wants to take a little bit of rest, he'll take a rest. I 100% believe he will be in, whether it's the whole game or not. That's a different story. But even like Johnny was saying, like it's a full week off. So
right.
If he misses this game, it's 2 weeks off. That's a long time of not only rest, of also not playing. So if the history has shown us anything, I think he's played every single final game, even when...
Give him a half.
Yeah, I would say give him a half, give him 3/4. Oftentimes they'll let him play until like 5 minutes left, and that, like at that point, other than injury, fine, pull him for whatever amount of time you want to pull him for. But I do think he'll play. I don't know how much he'll play, but it seems I can't imagine Vince wanting to sit a whole game.
Yeah.
I think he will be out there just to even just take reps. Obviously it's game reps, but still it's reps. I don't think he wants a bye week headed into playoffs. So I think we'll see him out there. I think he played amazing in this one. Again, 81 save percentage. Yes, the amount of shots helps that a little bit, but you also have to save that amount of shots. So I think we had two different style tune-ups to me. In the last game, I thought he made a lot of big saves and also the saves he should be making, but this one seemed like a lot of just, again, flurry, a pepper of shots every single time, just a ton of shots, and he was still making those saves. So this one was more the ones he should be making. He was making on top of more big saves as well. So, like you said, the last two games alone, I think he is building to playoff Matt Vince. I think we are destined to see another. I don't know if he'll be able to repeat last year because those numbers were absolutely ridiculous, but if he gets anywhere near there, that would be great. And then the Stotts goal you mentioned, I wanted to say that I was like, I don't know, Belter just got beat one-on-one. Is that bad defense? And as I rewatched, I was like, no, he played him amazing. It's just a good player beating a good defender. And it was the same thing with the Dane Smith double team.
Yep.
What are you supposed to do? Great players do great things. I mean, he got double teamed, still finds a way to get a pass off and score a goal. So, again, great players do great things. There's only so much you can do. Other teams are going to score. But I thought Vince played well. I thought the defense as a whole played well. Just overall, a really, really good game.
So just to clean up this game, I thought Connor Farrell played as well as he could have going against Jake Withers for the first time in NLL. It's a beast of a challenge to go against Jake Withers, but again, I said it off the top. He didn't let any clean victories go the other way, and that's kind of what you want when you're facing Jake Withers. Just give yourself a chance. That's pretty much all this was. Bench minor, the penalties, bench minor. Smith left 6 to 7 feet too early again. They have to be better at the boards there. Calling on you accordingly. He's got to be better to hold the guys back. There's been too many times where it's been the bench minor.
Wasn't even close.
McKay's first slashing, didn't even touch him. Not even close. It didn't even brush his helmet. There was no contact whatsoever. Bad call, but I think it was just a bad vantage point by the referees. In that situation, just don't make the call. It's easy. You weren't making very many calls in this one, which I loved. They were very consistent. I think they were very, very good. I'm not complaining about the referees at all in this one. Don't hear what I'm not saying. The last one, Ian McKay, that was just a frustration one. Dumb penalty to take, but he got his money's worth. Last one, listen, I think they made the right call on the Josh Byrne not having a helmet. I think that is the way that you're supposed to handle it. But based on the two other times that the Bandits have had penalties called against them when the helmet comes off, this should have been a penalty. I think that's just me saying that the rules need to change. I think they called it correctly in this one, but based on what they've done in the past, it should have been a penalty. In my opinion, should have been a penalty. But, again, that is me saying rule needs to change. As soon as the helmet comes off, should be a dead ball, possession the other way. That should be the rule. Then it's no judgment whatsoever. It's not having players play without a helmet. You get your safety aspect, and there's no penalty called. You get the dumb penalty taken out of it. That's the best, most fair way, in my opinion, to handle it if you want that type of situation to come out of the game. And I do, because that should have been a penalty. Just
to me, for that one, I think it was situational. Personally, I don't know if it was. I don't know what the ref's discussion was. But to me, it was either two guys are going to the box or no one's going to the box. So I think the punch to Burns' head should have been a penalty. Not saying 5-minute major. It was just a 2-minute. He literally got punched in the face, so that's got to be something. He got up high. That's a reason he lost the helmet. And then, yes, I do agree that he played with his helmet too long. So I wonder, and this could be just completely made up, but to me it was either you're going 4-on-4,
yep,
or you're just letting both penalties go and just saying, you know what, it is what it is, we're not going to call anything. So I wonder if that's what the long discussion was, hey, we gotta either send them both, I think, or send neither. I do think both could have been called a penalty, and I am okay with them letting both go and just saying it's a wash, we'll just keep playing and it is what it is. But by the book, I do agree with you. I think both of them should have been called penalties. Probably 2 minutes for high sticking and then 2 minutes for playing without your helmet. But I do wonder, just given the situation, if they were just we'll let both go and just kind of carry on, especially with how few calls they made throughout the game, which is fantastic. Love it. I like when they call a lot more change of possessions instead
Yes.
of penalties, which they seem to have done the last 2 games with Buffalo. I don't know if this is a league change by any means, but Buffalo only having 3 penalties this game, 1 being a bench minor. So if you take that one out, 2 penalties this game, 0 penalties the game before, that is unheard of for the Bandits. So I don't know if there was some kind of shift in making a lot more change of possession calls versus penalties, but I like what the refs have been doing the last 2 games.
So we will move on to our third and final sponsor of the show, Totally Buffalo Store. Their mission is to celebrate all things Buffalo with over 100 local artisans. They are the place to go, especially this week. When you need to find a gift for a friend or you just want to shop around for something for yourselves, they offer 3 locations: 3328 Sheridan Drive in Amherst, 3459 Amelia Drive in Orchard Park, and 467 Center Street in Lewiston.
PK, we haven't done a general overview of what is offered at the Totally Buffalo stores. 3 locations you just mentioned. So I figured why not do a quick-ish rundown of what they offer, very similar to your Milestone Minute. Here we go. They have Sabres merchandise, Bills merchandise, Buffalo Bandits merchandise. They have Dingus Day apparel and accessories. You want soap that looks like a butter lamb? They got it. You want an Easter-themed wreath? You can get that too. We got Easter chocolate, candles, shirts, infant clothes, socks, hat, hair accessories, jewelry, lawn decor, puzzles, trivia, drinkware, stickers, magnets, pillows, all of that and much, much more, all created by local artisans. And as PK often says, these are items you simply cannot find at a big box store, but you can find out what else they have on their Facebook and Instagram, or check out their website at totallybuffalostore.com.
I lost count. I was trying to keep. I didn't have enough fingers.
A lot.
They have.
I
too
didn't
much
even
stuff
mention
there.
everything they have.
Yeah, they have too much stuff. Go down there, buy it out, and then they have less stuff that I have to count on my fingers. Please benefit me there, and also do what the Bandits did and benefit me here. A lot of milestones checked off the board. Love that they were still announcing them there. Thank you, Paul Dawson. Dane Smith, he passed Callum Crawford. He also passed 800 career assists. Just the 6th player ever to reach that mark. Congratulations to him. And he's right back in the assist race for the new record and making 4 straight years of breaking his own record. Paul Dawson reached 100 block shots and 100 points for his career. Fantastic. He also reached 50 block shots for the year. He almost has double the amount of block shots as the previous record. It's sickening. Dane Smith and Josh Byrne both are either tied, Josh Byrne, or passing Mitch Jones for 9th place in a single NLL season in points. Josh Byrne also is now tied for 6th in NLL seasons, or in an NLL season with assists. Dane Smith is now 2nd. He beat himself once again in assists for a single season. Mad Vince did move into 6th place in wins for a goalie in an NL season. Dane Smith passed 1,000 assists or loose balls. Josh Byrne he has a new career high in assists. Kyle Buchanan, like you already mentioned earlier in the season, earlier in the show, Kyle Buchanan has a new career high in goals. Johnny Tavares coached in his 100th game, and Connor Farrell did pass Rich Kilgore for 3rd place in face-off wins for the Bandits' history. A lot of milestones. Week 21, game 18 should be less. Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Yeah, Dane, after we both kind of, I know I was really, really harping on him, but after we both kind of said there's no chance he has to get the assist record. I don't think we said no chance. We said lower chance of getting the assist record or breaking the points record. He is right back.
He's 3 away from assist and 9 away from points.
Yeah, he could very well get both, especially if Georgia keeps playing how Georgia's been playing. Team is ridiculous. But that is for a different segment coming up. But at the same time, to just kind of reiterate what Paul Dawson is doing out there. Not only does he have 100 block shots, like you said, 50 in this season alone, and the next highest compared to him is 35 in the league. So it's not only that he's just having a monster season, but no one else is even close to him. It's pretty much how Dane Smith gets assists every single season, but just what he does is incredible. And I know we talk about it a lot. He came into the league as a goalie, so it's not simply like wires, just kind of literally stands in the way and kind of hopes to get hit, whereas Dawson is out there pretty much playing goalie and not only throwing his body in the way, but he's watching angles of shots. He knows what angle he needs to be at to block shots. There's a reason he has 50 block shots. It's insane. He smashed the record, and he just keeps doing incredible things. But block shots are just wild. Wild to get that many.
So we'll go over the NLL outlook for the second to last week in the NLL. We got 5 games to go over, so we'll fly through these. Vancouver takes down Toronto, ending any hopes and dreams they had. 12-10. Vancouver was up 5-2 after 1, 7-3 at half, and 10-6 after 3. They really stood no chance. But I will say, with Toronto's one positive I'll mention about them, Josh Dawg, he is a legit player. They have a legit player on the right side to pair with Tom Schreiber if he can ever play a full season.
Yeah, this game was interesting. It was kind of a blowout real early, and then it was one of those things where did Vancouver just kind of take the foot off the pedal and cruise to a victory because Toronto did catch up, but it took the very end of the game to get there. But pretty easy win for Vancouver overall. I think they were out to like 8-2 at one point or 8-3, something. I don't know. They had quite the lead, and then, like you said, Toronto kind of chipped away, but really wasn't much of a contest.
Ottawa is right back in the playoff race here. They're in that group of 8 and 9 because no team really wants to claim those final spots. Ottawa 13-10 win over Vegas. It was 2-1 after 1, 9-7 at halftime. Ottawa led, and it was pretty much over from there because Jeff Teat is really good at this sport. 8 goals on 17 shots. That's ridiculous. He's stupid good at this sport, and no human should be that good at one particular thing, but he is. And I'm kind of hoping Ottawa misses the playoffs so we get some kind of Jeff Teat drama in the offseason of not wanting to play with Ottawa anymore because they can't make the playoffs, because I hate them because they won't play Jacob Dunbar. And yes, they keep winning with him not in the lineup, but I don't care. It hurts my feelings, and it's ruining my bold prediction.
That's kind of the catch-22 with Ottawa. Like, yes, Teat is beyond incredible, and you should not be able to score 8 goals on 17 shots, but without him, and I understand that's like taking Dane Smith off the Bandits, but 8 goals to barely win against Vegas is insane. And this game was much closer than the Toronto-Vancouver game. Like, this game was close pretty much the whole game, and you still needed a, just like you said, otherworldly performance from Teat in order to beat Vegas. Like, what? I just don't. And again, your playoff hopes are on the line, and it takes this level of performance to beat a team that is last place and out of playoffs. It just, Ottawa's, I don't know. They should be better, and they just aren't.
The first team that we're going to be talking about that doesn't want to make the playoffs is San Diego. Albany keeps their hopes alive. 12-10 win over San Diego. It was 4-3 San Diego after 1. It was 7-6 San Diego at half. And it was 9-9 after 3. And Albany says, I'm going to snatch your soul. You're not making the playoffs, you old bunch of losers. San Diego also, O'Reilly, Adam Levy. God, I hate this. He left injured in the fourth quarter, and a lot of players seemed very concerned about it. He mentioned that there was a stretcher in the locker room as well. If they do not have O'Rig, they're toast. They're done. I believe Graham Perro still said if they win this next week against Albany, they're in. But you just lost to Albany. You've been on a tailspin the second half of the season, even after you got back into it. I don't know what to make of San Diego, and it's frustrating because I had them as my number 1 seed. But they do not want to just claim one of these spots. They win, they were in this week, and they're not. And it's going to be very interesting this last week because they have to host Albany that just beat you.
Yeah, Kavanaugh in his first game got his first goal. Congratulations to him. But overall, weird. Like you said, like San Diego should be a team that's better than this, and they just continue to kind of crumble a little bit. And this was a game that they kind of threw away in the third quarter. I was watching it at halftime of the Bandits game, and I was keeping an eye on it, and there was only 1 goal scored for a majority. I think there was like 2 minutes left in the third, and it was 8-6. And all of a sudden, I was just like watching. I was like, oh, I'll throw it on. Why not? We'll see what happens. And just a huge flurry of goals. There was one, I think, with 0.1 seconds left to tie it for Albany, 9-9 after 3. That was just a wild end to a third quarter, but Albany keeps their hopes alive, and San Diego is kind of imploding, especially, like you mentioned, if they lose O-Rig. Yikes.
We're going to be talking to Nick Klaus on Wednesday. It's the interview for Georgia, and I'm going to ask him this question. This is the second team that doesn't want to make the playoffs. Georgia lose to Philly 16-13 in back-to-back weeks. Good job. It was. I don't think this stat is right. I hope the NL goes back. It has Georgia 2 for 12 on the power play, but Philly only had 12 penalty minutes, so I think that stat's wrong. Just putting it out there. That can't be possibly right. Philly was 2-1 after 1. It was 8-2 at half, and it was 14-4 after 3. So the end score didn't indicate how putrid of a game Georgia had. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be talking to Nick on Monday to record this for Wednesday's episode, but holy cow, being a Georgia Swarm fan has to be the most I said this on the last show. They have to be the most infuriating franchise in the NLL right now because they are kissing any chances goodbye, and it's been the same thing for the last 3 seasons. It's just head on a table, banging your head, and hopefully you get a concussion so you don't have to watch this team over and over and over.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, Philly, what was it? Did you say 8-game losing streak headed into this series, and now you've lost to them twice on a team that has absolutely nothing going on. Their season's over. I don't get it. And this is another team, again, Georgia and Ottawa all season for me have been these teams that have shown sparks of greatness where they can beat good teams, hang in there, have great wins, and then just implode all the other times they play. I don't get it. I don't know what Georgia is. I don't know what Ottawa is. I don't think they know what they are is the bigger question as well, but Georgia is in big trouble.
And if you can believe it, Philly still has a very slim chance to make the playoffs. I think Grant Perot said they have to have a specific 4-way tie for them to make it. But Rochester only needed 3 of 129 last year, and they got in. So
they did.
Could possibly happen. The last one, and this team at least has an excuse, the third team that doesn't want to make the playoffs is Colorado. They were a no-show on Sunday. Saskatchewan wins 11-6, and again, score was the final score was way closer than this game was. Saskatchewan, it was 2-2 after 1. Saskatchewan to score 8 straight all the way to the 4th, and then Colorado was like, "Oh, we had a game to play. Oops." Dylan Ward, I'm sorry, man. 50 of 61 saves, and your team puts up 2 through 3 quarters for you. See ya. Bye. Adios. See you next year, Colorado.
Yeah, it's gotta. I mean, again, there's nothing they can do about it. For the most part.
There was a trade deadline. There was a trade deadline.
That is true. They lost a lot of big pieces, though, but since losing those pieces, they have also imploded. Like you said, I do feel bad for Ward. I think he's played really well, even during this losing streak. I mean, they were 8-5, and look at them now. Trying, like you said, they're very bad. No one wants that last spot.
They were like, "Hey, Philly, watch this."
Pretty much. We can go on just as bad of a losing streak as you guys. It's going to be, we've said it for, 5, 6, 7 weeks now, but every game's going to matter. But this last week is exactly what they hoped for with unified standings. It's going to be insane what needs to happen for all of these teams to get in. And that is why you don't want to be part of that mess in the middle. This is exactly why, obviously, it's very easy to say you want to be a 1 seed, but even with all the teams that are already in, you want to be there. You want to have your seat sealed. You do not want to be in this gigantic mess of 19,000 tiebreakers and who needs what to win. It's going to be a very wild last week to see who can finally get in. And like you've mentioned so many times in this, who actually wants to get into playoffs, because it does not seem like many of them care to be in it. I mean, they know Buffalo's there, so it's tough. It's tough, knowing you might have to face them. I get it.
7 teams, 3 spots, and like you just said, they might be like, "No, I don't want the 8th seed. No, you take the 8th seed. I don't want the 8th seed. I don't want to go against Buffalo." That's pretty much what it is. But we'll move on here. Final segment of the show. They were who we thought they were, and we didn't let them off the hook because we don't care. Sabres, 3 straight losses. I know the Sunday game's still going on, but it is 7-3 losing with 5:42 to go. So we'll give them the loss on Sunday. We'll give them the loss on Thursday because that happened 3-2 versus Columbus. Peterka and Dahlin with the goal scorers. Reimer started 27-30 saves, 41-30 in favor of shots for Buffalo, 0-for-1 on the power play, and they got goalie goated. That's all it was. Columbus goalie played unbelievable after giving up 2 early ones in the first. Plenty of chances, just couldn't beat Reeves in net. Saturday versus Florida, they took them to a shootout. Good for them because Florida's a really good hockey team, even though they didn't start anybody because they clinched playoffs already. Dahlin and Peterka, once again, were goal scorers. UPL, 32 of 34 saves. Good for him. 34 to 28 in shots favor of Florida. 2 for 3 on the power play. Good for them. Scoring on the power play. Peterka tied in the third, just 1 goal in the shootout. And then, like I mentioned, they're losing to Tampa Bay embarrassingly on Sunday. 2 more games. Sadly, we're going to have to talk about them on the next 2 shows because the Thursday game is right when we're recording. So we'll wrap this putrid of a season up in next Monday show. But the 3 straight losses, though. I don't care.
Yeah. Congrats to UPL finally playing a good game again and getting a start in front of the fantastic Reimer, who is the one playing right now, allowing 7 goals on 30 shots. So hopefully, for your hopes especially, that this single game will sink him in the offseason and not allow him to come back to Buffalo. But overall, congrats on losing like you should have been this whole time. Stop winning. Even though I don't care about the draft picks, you're just not doing anything for yourselves. Yeah, congrats. Tage Thompson, not going to get to 50. That's a bummer.
He did also just start the 7-3 losing game right now. 25 of 32 saves. So, yeah, come on, Reimer. Keep stinking it up so they don't try to sign you. But that will wrap up this episode. Longer episode. Well, I guess it's about our average.
About average.
So that concludes this episode. Bandits number 1 seed. Locked it up. We'll be talking to Nick Klaus on the Wednesday interview, breaking down the Georgia Swarm. They have a chance to play spoiler for Georgia and not let Georgia in the playoffs, which would be lovely because I am tired of watching them. They are annoying, and I don't know how, if you're a Georgia Swarm fan, that you can watch this and enjoy it, because I have one of the questions I'm going to ask Nick, and I'm not going to say it on here in case he listens to this episode. And it's going to be a little bit of a teaser to find out what the heck do they do in the offseason. It's going to be interesting. But we'll also break down Buffalo versus Georgia on the Friday show, preview that one as Buffalo looks to break some records. And there's some records on the line for Friday's game, which will be away in Georgia. Stay tuned for there. And we'll talk about one Sabres game because they just won't die. Thank you all for listening to another episode of the Buffalo Sports Collective. Thank you to Tap That Tap Room, Totally Buffalo Store, and Phrase Flowers for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. Visit our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Phil's article will be dropping on Tuesday. My final power rankings on Thursday. Check out our store on our Linktree on our socials or at the shop tab at the top of the website. Follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube, and leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Until next time.